Welcome to Manifest Anything You Can Imagine podcast, the podcast that empowers you to turn your dreams into reality using the law of attraction. I'm your host, Papi Denuzo, and together we'll dive into the mindset, strategies, and energy shifts you need to create the life you've always envisioned. Whether it's health, wealth, happiness, love, relationships, or spirituality, inspired by my transformative book, Manifest Anything You Can Imagine, each episode brings you practical tools, inspiring stories, and bold insights to unlock your limitless potential. Get ready to manifest your greatness, and let's dive in.
Give a fish, teach to fish, delivering hope. A Paying It Forward self-improvement and personal development charitable community outreach initiative. Founded, supported, and funded by Denuzo Private Wealth, Inc. Papi would love to get his message of positivity and abundance to as many of his fellow brothers and sisters as possible. And with the technology that we have available to us, he could speak as far away as Kenya or as close as Cleveland. So I want to thank you all for joining us today and to remind you that if you're looking for an inspirational speaker, please book Papi to speak to your organization or book him to speak for free to your nonprofit that would love to hear his global message of hope, inspiration, abundance, and peace of mind. Good morning, Papi. Let's go over to Papi now to set the table for us.
Hey, Mikey, good morning. Namaste. The spirit in me greets the spirit in you and in all of our listeners today. Thank you so much. Yeah, when you mentioned that, Mikey, about with technology, we've made great inroads into Kenya and starting in Liberia, and another woman that I have a meeting with today. And that's just how the university works, through synchronicity and through quote unquote coincidences, which you and I, Mikey, know there are none. That this woman came out of Africa and is very grateful that she made it to the United States, and she wants to help her fellow brothers and sisters. So I'm very anxious. She's from another country other than Kenya or Liberia. I'm very anxious to know where she was born and raised, and for us to be able to help her as well. So it continues to expand. We mentioned we're working on the Philippines and different areas. And I had a very nice presentation in the inner city area of Cleveland, Ohio this past Saturday. So I'd like to share that with our audience as well. So yeah, a lot of good things happen. And one point that the universe makes all the time, Mikey, is that we can think that you could fill up a stadium or an arena full of our fellow brothers and sisters. But with the universe, it's every bit as important and powerful for that positive energy that goes out. If you're even talking with a small group, even helping one person, if you can help one person improve, let alone even a small group or a large group. So I just want to let our fellow brothers and sisters know, even if you can help one individual, don't think that you're not moving mountains, or, you're not talking to 20,000 people or 10,000 people. That can be every bit just as powerful to you improving the world that we live in. So don't ever underestimate your powers. And that's that creative power that's within inside of you. I'd like to start off, Mikey. I'm so happy and grateful now that today is a magnificent day. I'm so happy and grateful now that I have painted my masterpiece today. I'm already thinking in bed. Before I literally got out of bed this morning, I do these affirmations. I'm thinking about my most important tasks for today. I'm thinking about our show for today, Mikey, as well. And I'm thinking how great it feels when the show is over, how great of a job you did in preparation and Suzanne did in preparation, and all the technology that everyone does and all the work in the backgrounds for all of our fellow, any team members who help us. And just that the entire show went so well. And I just internalized that feeling, as if you like to play baseball or a sport, like hitting a home run, scoring a touchdown, scoring a goal. It feels like that. It's like that went so well. I'm just so happy and grateful now that the show went so well. So you start off with that you've created your masterpiece for the day, and your 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 most important tasks, you've already got an A+ on all those before you even start. Anytime I talk, Mike, I always remind everyone that everyone knows who the creator is. You know who that is. I never suggest that to you. I will mention universal intelligence, universal conscious mind, universal light, source power, source energy, but I never make any suggestions. You know what that is in your heart of heart, and that's what you plug into our conversations. Again, Mike, I'm just so happy and grateful now that we live in a perfect and infinite thought universe within a perfect and infinite. We live in a perfect and infinite thought world within a perfect and infinite thought universe. So again, we live within a perfect and infinite thought world within a perfect and infinite thought universe, filled and operated under perfect and infinite universal laws. I'm even more happy and grateful now that you and I and all of our fellow brothers and sisters have been blessed and we have been educated. We've received an invitation. We've been invited in and educated about the thought world that we live in within this perfect and infinite thought universe. And I am most happy and grateful now. I am most happy and grateful now that the Creator knows our name and loves us and truly desires in its heart of heart to co-create with us with this wonderful, life-changing, awe-inspiring creative power that all of us have inside of us to co-create with us for us to manifest anything we can imagine. That gratitude is the fuel in the engine, Mikey, that we keep on putting in if we think that we've been given the greatest gift we could ever receive, and that is creative power that's within all of us to manifest anything we can imagine, everything that we do, we should be giving gratitude for. We should be in gratitude all day long. We should be giving thanks. We should be in appreciation, and we should be in gratitude all the time. Again, in my book, Until You Learn All the Ins and Outs, so to speak, of manifesting, I recommend to keep on focusing on my book, Manifest Anything You Can Imagine, to read at least one page every day. A lot of my fellow brothers and sisters have mentioned that it's easier for them to listen to the book on Audible. I listened to it again, Mikey, when I was listening this morning. I listened to chapter 17 through a couple of the summary chapters at the end while I was getting ready, washing up, shaving, everything else. I'm listening to it myself. And you'll notice, and it's by design, the way the universe works is when you're reading and when you're listening, you could do it 100 times and say, I've never noticed that before. I swear I never heard that before. Like those words or phrase or sentence were not in the book. And this happens over and over again as you continue to expand and open yourself up and allow and grow, and your consciousness level is expanding and increasing and opening up. We always want to stay present. We always want to stay aware. We always want to stay conscious. And this will help you to do that on a daily basis. Next up, Mikey, for setting the table, I just want to mention again, had a great presentation this past Saturday in Cleveland, Ohio, in the Garfield Heights area with just a wonderful foundation. Miss Ashley runs this. It's called the 17th Foundation. And it just warms my heart every time I meet anyone. And it's not about the end result to me where it starts off, Mikey, and what they're doing. She works with underprivileged students and children in that area. Her, Miss Casey is focused on health, mental health, and Ashley is focused on everything else, providing a safe environment, a learning environment, a nurturing environment, et cetera, for these young, and especially young women, but young women and children, families. They're supporting her and Casey, a lot of people in their community through a lot of different ways. But what always gets my attention, Mikey, just what the love that our fellow brothers and sisters like this have in their heart. They're in their community. They know there's a need. This takes time, effort, capital, and it's like running a business. You've got electric bills and you've got all this overhead and stress, but they cherish that. They welcome that. They embrace that. And just the look on their face and how engaged they are when they're working with their fellow brothers and sisters in their communities. So I just want to tip my hat to Miss Ashley and Miss Casey. I mean, they just did a fantastic job, and I look up to them. People like that are my heroes. So congratulations to both of them. And I was honored for them to offer to me to come in and speak at their group and organization. And Mikey, I was praying my business books as well as manifesting, and they were all over the manifesting big time. Everything to do with manifesting, if you can imagine, but also my tax book, my middle market family office book, my 7 keys to investing success. They were asking questions about those as well. And just the aspirations that they have, what they want to do with their lives. And it's just very awe-inspiring. So I just tip my hat to them for the wonderful organization that they have. And I would just remind any of our listeners, our fellow brothers and sisters, keep your eyes open for groups like this in your communities and support them. You can, of course, support them monetarily. You can support them by volunteering, by donating. They're going to be something that you have no use for, very little use for in your house or your apartment that would help them tremendously. So again, keep your eyes and your ears open for those in need in your community and see what you can do to help them. And these groups are so awe-inspiring that it often doesn't take a whole lot to be able to help them tremendously. So please keep them in your thoughts and your prayers. Thank you, Mikey.
Awesome. How important it is to help others. And I think what an honor it was for you to get to speak to these young people. Positive influences at their age are just, it's just so impactful. And it's great that you got to share your purpose with them and be not just a positive influence in their life, but a positive force. So I just think I admire that. I just think it's great that you can reach out to these small groups, these large groups everywhere. I just think it's so important to do that.
Yeah, Mikey, I was going to say, excuse me, I was going to say, Mikey, just to piggyback on your thought, it's so interesting too, because we forget sometimes, but these were like preteens and teenagers. And just it takes them a little while to get started sometimes when they're asking questions. But, Mikey, from being a mom, it's just once those questions start, the questions, the comments, the thoughts, they just really got on a roll. And it was just wonderful. I mean, if you would have just on a piece of paper, Mikey, had written down, if someone was like a court stenographer writing down their questions and their comments and thoughts, even these younger preteens and into the teenagers, you would have thought that one half, two-thirds, three-quarters or more of their questions, comments, or thoughts were from grown adults. They were that well thought out and came from such like a learned area, like from their subconscious is what I got. Very, very powerful. So don't ever estimate our younger fellow brothers and sisters. They're extraordinarily talented.
Absolutely. And sometimes they just aren't given the opportunity to ask those questions. They're not giving the platform to do so. And like you said, even in the last webinar that we had, the one child from Kenya, he was like, imagination is everything. So like, you
Right.
never know what's going to come out of their mouth. So you can learn from them just as much as they're learning from you. And I just think that's so powerful. And speaking of powerful and being positive, being a positive force, with so much negativity around us, Pappy just wants to remind us that repetition is your key to manifesting. And he sends us a positive message every week to everyone that's on our mailing list. And he shares two concepts to live by. And he's going to share two of those with us today. Pappy, would you like to share with us?
Yeah, thank you, Mikey. Yeah, we've got a few that we've sent out in between shows. So I will start off with what I refer to in my book, the physical back of your goal. So everything, wherever you're sitting at right now, if you're listening, just driving in a car, or if you're in any room in your house, wherever you're at, when you take a look around at your surroundings, everything that you see, everything is created twice. First in someone's mind, and then the physical object back of it is physically created. I would argue, Mike, or I would suggest, I would say, I don't like to use the word argue. I would suggest that the hard part, the powerful part is creating it in your mind, creating it in your mind. I'm a big jazz fan, Mikey, and blends into other genres as well. But I remember, I believe it was Mr. White. He was with a famous jazz pianist. I think it was Ramsey Lewis. And this was at the height of his career. And he was the drummer. It's like a three-piece group. And one thing that musicians like to do, Mikey, is play in front of people. They just love it. It's like that's where they're meant to be. That's their gifts, their energy. They could just sort of play all day long if they've got an audience enjoying their music. And they're one of the top two or three or four jazz ensembles, bands, whatever have you, however you want to look at entertainers in the country. And then Mr. White was the drummer. And he said, he came to Ramsey one day and says, I'm going to be leaving the band. And he said, we're going to leave the band. We've got gigs. This is the greatest thing on earth. I mean, who wouldn't want to be doing this? Man, we're loved. We fill up rooms and halls, arenas, wherever we go. We're so popular. We're so highly respected. He said, no, I'm going to go a different direction. And he said, what type of different direction are you going to go? And he says, I'm going to form my own band. And he says, what kind of band are you going to form? He says, well, it's going to be a blend. And he said, what kind of blend? He says, well, it's going to be part jazz, like what we're doing, but it's also going to be part rock and roll, part funk, part R&B, he names all these different genres, and he's going to sort of put them in a blender, and that's what he's going to do with his band. And the famous quote that Ramsey said is, and again, this is one of the most phenomenal jazz artists of all time, Ramsey Lewis says, that will never work. That will never work. Name of the band was Earth, Wind, and Fire. We'll have some of our listeners who will recognize that name. They had a multi-decade, unbelievable run, one of the greatest bands of all time as far as record sales and everything else. But Mikey, he created that in his mind. And he thought about that, and he thought about it over and over, and he refined that thought, and he manifested it. He manifested that band through his thoughts. So everything is created twice. Once in our thoughts, he created Earth, Wind, and Fire in his thoughts, in his mind. and then the physical object backwards. And then he had to go out and get the band members, etc., interview people, have them do, listening to them, having them perform, audition, etc. So I would maintain, though, Mikey, that we don't ever want to overthink this. One of my favorite affirmations that I do is, I am so happy and grateful now that I achieve every goal that I set effortlessly and easily and with fun. That it's fun and it's effortless and it's easy. This is not us doing the heavy lifting, Mikey. This is the universe with these pure and perfect universal laws that do the lifting. We must meet it and do our part. And those are our most important tasks that we do every day. It could be something as simple as a 2-minute phone call, Mikey. It could be an email, a 1-sentence email. It could, of course, be a virtual meeting. It could be an in-person meeting. It might be an in-person meeting that only lasts for 7 minutes. This is what we do to complete the physical object back of our goal. So you first create it in your mind what your goal is, and then you complete the physical object back of it here on Earth by your most important tasks, and be very open to this because the universe is trying to help you with that also. Have your shortest and most direct pathway possible for you to complete the physical object back of your goal. The next one I would like to mention, Mikey, would be purpose. And purpose is one that typically comes along a little bit later. So I tell our fellow brothers and sisters, Mikey, not to overthink this one or put pressure on yourself. The two most important days of our lives for all of us are the day we were born and the day we figured out why we were born, our purpose, why we are here. We all came here for a primary reason, for a primary purpose. That's why we're here. So individuals, you hear all the time, Mikey, people say, debating like the ethereal concepts of what's the meaning of life? Why am I? Well, that's your purpose. The two most important days, the day you were born and the day you figure out why you were born. Everyone, every single one, Mikey, of our over 8 billion fellow brothers and sisters has a special, unique gift unto them. They're an expert. They're fantastic at something. They want to find what that is, and they'll be compensated and have prosperity by exercising that skill in some way, shape, or form. And people are going to love them. And when they're in their purpose, it's not even going to feel like they're working or anything. Like they'll actually be more energized after they're in their purpose for 2 hours or 4 hours or 8 hours than even before when they started. When you're in your purpose, you could even be working in a day that actually would be, what would you say, overtime, working more than 8 hours. And you could pick your head up from what you're doing and say, I can't believe it. I've been at this. I've been at work today for 9 hours or 10 hours of working. I was like, you can be on a weekend, but you feel invigorated. It's like the time just passed. It was like it was 30 seconds. It is energizing you, not taking energy out of you. So let your purpose develop. Don't force it. Don't push it. Look at your goals one at a time, and your purpose will come to you as you stay in tune with your subconscious mind and your intuition. And as you continue to follow yourself, as long as your heart is in the right place, Mikey, and you are genuine and of a humble heart, you will be led to this just as clear can be, as clear can be. So keep an open mind, be of a humble heart, be genuine, be honest, and you will find your purpose. But the main point I make about purpose, Mikey, is never to force it, just to keep on working on it, working towards your goals, working toward all prayers are answered, Mikey. All affirmations are answered. All goals are delivered unto us, and all 10x goals are delivered unto us. And the universe reminds us that some of the greatest prayers or affirmations, etc., that were ever answered were ones that weren't. So again, we keep an open mind. We are just working with human intelligence ourselves. And when we're using our conscious mind, I call it our stinking thinking, or as Dolores Cannon used to refer to our conscious mind as Mr. Stupid. So she used the velvet hammer approach on her description there. But when our conscious mind gets in the way, clear that out, open yourself up, get in touch with your intuition. Some people will call that, their intuition. Others will call it their gut feeling. Get in touch with that. Follow your nose, so to speak, and it will lead you to your purpose. And it doesn't matter once you get started elevating yourself to a higher level of consciousness, it doesn't matter if it takes you 2 months to truly find your purpose, 2 years, 7 years, 5 years, it doesn't matter. You'll find it whenever the time arrives. You'll find it when the time arrives. It's sort of along the lines of the eons old phrase, when a student is ready, the teacher will appear. When you're ready for your purpose to be shown and delivered unto you, it will be delivered to you. So just keep on working towards it. But even what I said earlier, Mikey, if someone is focused on helping their fellow brothers and sisters, be very encouraged, even if you're helping one individual fellow brother or sister. Don't ever think, I wish I was helping 10 people right now, or 100 or 1,000. That one person has the same power going out and making this a better world, as if it was that 10 or that 100 or that 1,000. So just stay true to your heart and you will find your purpose, and it'll be one of the happiest days of your life.
Wow, that's one of the reasons I love these webinars is because, like, you can really expand on the concepts to live by that you send out in your emails, and really you give really good examples. I just love that. So, and I love that you can say something like the 2 most important days of your life kind of puts everything into perspective, right? Because, like,
Yeah.
you only have 2 important days in your life, and you can't change the things in the past, and you really, you can't worry about the future. All you have is the right now, is the present. And once you figure out why you're here, it kind of puts everything into focus. Your
Yeah.
actions become way more deliberate, and you can truly begin to manifest. And I love that. So thank you for those examples.
And Mikey, if I can just piggyback one more time on top of that, is I don't want any of our listeners, Mikey, our fellow brothers and sisters, ever think that this is a waste of time. This is all extraordinarily valuable. It's extraordinarily valuable time. The universe would not, source energy would not have you go through this if it was not in your best interest. We've all heard the phrase, enjoy the journey. A lot of people are looking at, like, what's my goal? What's the end? What's the final destination? Whatever it may be. Enjoy the journey. There's a reason that you and I and all of our fellow brothers and sisters are taking on all of these journeys. When Thomas Edison, it was mentioned to him, he obviously took copious notes. And when anyone's nicknamed the inventor, it was his nickname, the inventor. He, or arguably, by some people, be considered the greatest inventor in the multi hundreds of years of history with the United States of America. And there was inventions that he created, Mikey, that he had 5,000, 10,000, 15, 20,000 iterations when he was trying to invent something, and he tried method number 1 and it didn't work. Number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. And he was questioned on this a number of times. And you could go and read the quotes. So, Mr. Edison, how did you how did you how did you lose your mind? I mean, how did you still stay positive and keep on moving forward with all these failures that you encountered? And what did he say, Mikey? He said, I never encountered one failure my entire life. I never had one failure. This is all research and development. If I had not done those 5,500 or 17,700 iterations for me working towards inventing what I was working on, I never would have invented it. Never would have invented it. Ross Perot, who was a billionaire a number of decades ago, left a big company, I believe it was IBM, and went out on his own. And a lot of people told him that wasn't a bright thing to do. He was following his intuition, I would imagine. I don't know, Mr. Perot. But the one thing that stuck to me was the one story about him, Mikey, was that he left a large, plush, cushy job, sort of on easy street, you could say, maybe for the rest of your life, to start his own company and have all the challenges that you have with that. And I think, Mikey, approximately, he went out on sales calls to sell his idea that he founded a new company. It was a technology-based company. And he went out on sales calls. And I think, Mikey, to use an approximate number, he went on the first sales call. No, thank you, sir. There goes the door. Have a nice day. Goes on a second sales call. No, thank you, sir. There goes the door. Have a nice day. 70 sales calls, Mikey. 70. Which one of our listeners, whatever they're passionate about and think that they've got a breakthrough idea, service, offering, product, whatever it may be, would go to 5 people who would tell you no? 10 in a row, 20, 30, and you would keep on going out. Somebody questioned him on that, and they said, Mr. Pro, this is you had a tremendous amount of failure before you got your company started. His answer, Mikey, was, I didn't have any failure at all on the 70 something client that he met with, that he signed up for his services and his product. It was a multi-billion-dollar contract. So he divided all of those meetings into the $1 billion. Let's just say his quote was something like, I averaged 50 million or $100 million per sales call. So he viewed that, again, the same way as Thomas Edison. These, what other people would say were a disaster or failure or rejection, he viewed those positively. He viewed that he never would have got to the promised land, so to speak, if he had not had the experience of what the average human being would call 70 consecutive rejections. So this is the way that we want to think. This is the way that we want to think as well. And this all goes back to you moving towards your purpose. There are no rejections. There are no failures. Everything happens for a reason. The universe, Mikey, with all the love that's shown for us, can't help itself that even when we have in human terms, what we would call a challenge or a problem in human terms, the answer is embedded within there from the universe every single time. Emphatically, every single time it's in there. And once in a while, in a relatively frequently, relationships, whatever it may be, we actually can take ourselves to a higher level every single time with what we call problems or challenges. And the universe is so gracious and so full of love that the solution or answer is embedded right within those challenges or problems, guaranteed for me, because I've got this as clear can be, rings like a bell, as clear can be every single time. So carry on with a smile on your face and enjoy and give thanks, give gratitude when you run into a challenge or a problem. It's for your benefit.
Absolutely. I always tell my kids, if it doesn't challenge you, it won't change you. You have to have a challenge to be able to change yourself. And always to learn from your mistakes. There are no failures. It's not about the mistakes you made. It's about what you learned from the mistake and how you're going to do it differently.
Yes,
And
learning
speaking of
experience.
learning, we can all use some coaching strategies when it comes to manifesting the law of attraction. So, Pappy, what's your manifest coaching tip for us today?
Yeah, Mikey, we were talking earlier with you and myself and Suzanne. I'm going to start to name the shows from the Manifest Coaching Tip, because that's the most frequent question I get from my fellow brothers and sisters, is on the how to, Pappy, and I'm doing this. Should I do more or less or change it to something else, etc.? So I'm going to focus on a concept. So we're starting out with a big picture idea today, Mikey, and I call it just, successful, loving, joyful manifesting is a lifestyle. And the key word here is lifestyle. Whenever you first start off, I get questions, Mikey, from our fellow brothers and sisters. Pappy, do I have to do this every day? Your ritual and the things that I teach and I coach, and it's just, and it does bring a smile on my face, Mike, because it's what I hear that question is, Pappy, do I have to be deliriously happy every day? Do I really have to? I'm like, I would think that you want to. Instead of being in the doldrums and pouting and walking around and full of anger and all kind of other bits on the show about repetition and having a structure, having a daily ritual, having a weekly ritual, having these rituals, and you own those, you customize those for yourselves. And what it ends up being, Mikey, is a lifestyle. So manifesting, I'm starting with the biggest picture as we're starting on our journey here for more specific coaching tips to help our fellow brothers and sisters to get in your mind that it is a lifestyle. Anyone that you've ever met, I use the analogy and metaphor of losing weight. Anyone that I've ever met who lost weight and has kept the weight off has not kept it off. I can't recall, Mikey, one instance where I ever think of one of my fellow brothers and sisters says, Pappy, I got this gimmick diet, or I've got this diet. It's you just drink grapefruit juice all day, whatever it is. And that's how I took this 30 or 40 pounds off years and years ago and have kept it off. When anyone has been successful in that genre, it's been because of what I hear them say over and over again is, Pappy, it was a lifestyle. I made lifestyle changes. And when we make lifestyle changes, Mikey, we're regarding manifesting anything you can imagine. We're incorporating more good habits into our life, and we're removing bad habits. And I don't want to oversimplify it, but over time, we remove 10 bad habits. We supplant them with 10 good habits. and it doesn't take any more time in your day. And before you know it, you wake up one day and you've elevated your game. You've leveled up to another level. And there are limitless levels, Mikey, for us to improve health, happiness, love, career, relationships, whatever it may be. So I just want our fellow brothers and sisters, we're starting off big and we'll be digging into this more every single show, to think of this as a lifestyle, not to have any negative connotations or thoughts with this. I have to work harder. I have to do something. I've got to devote time towards whether it's visualizing or on my emotion work or on my affirmations, whatever it is. Once you turn the corner with the proper lifestyle, you will not be spending any extra time on manifesting the life of your dreams. What you will have done is eliminated a whole lot of bad habits and got really good at protecting your subconscious mind by canceling, rejecting, refusing to participate, flipping the script on that. I call it that flip the script affirmation we talk about. And just a good old fashioned, I refuse to give up my heaven on earth. When you realize, Mikey, when our listeners, our fellow brothers and sisters realize that they have true creative power to create anything that they desire within them, that they have creative power to create anything that they desire in them, they will not give up that heaven on earth for them to be able to manifest anything they can imagine. So again, it's about a manifesting lifestyle, and we're going to be digging deeper every show, and I'll be going through specific teaching points, Mikey, on the ritual. Again, the Sunday night ritual, getting ready for the week, first thing in the morning, afternoon, evening, etc. Different sort of curveballs, knuckleballs that could come at us, how to handle those. So the point we want to just make today is that manifesting is a lifestyle, and it should bring a smile to our face. That lifestyle should make us very happy thinking about this, that you are in control. You have creative power within you, and you can co-create with universal intelligence, universal subconscious mind, anything that you desire.
Well, that makes me really excited about the upcoming shows. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
So, I just
Yes.
think that's so awesome that manifesting is a lifestyle. Like a good coach makes it sound easy, and you make it sound like it's very easy to do. And it's we talked about, I think, in the last webinar, the 21-day like Papi effect, and like how practicing gratitude and your daily affirmations no longer take extra time. It's just like, for me, it's just like working out. Like now it's just part of my lifestyle. Now I practice gratitude a little bit more every day. Like you said, 1% better. I practice, I do my daily affirmations every day now. It just becomes a part of who you are. It becomes your lifestyle. And I know that you also do daily affirmations. And your daily affirmations always start out with, I am so happy and grateful now that. And you're going to tell us about one of them today.
Yeah, we focus on one every show, Mikey. So thank you. Thanks to you and Suzanne again for the wonderful job you do putting everything together. And the one we're focused on today is, I am so happy and grateful now that I believe that universal intelligence's creative energy works to the established channels of natural growth and of the existing economic, industrial, and social order. So what we're saying here, Mikey, again, we start with I am, and those are the key words, recognizing this universal subconscious mind, creative power within you, the ability to create. You have that power within you. We're happy and grateful. It's all about a high elevation, high vibration, high frequency. We're always in gratitude. We're giving gratitude all day long. And Mikey, a reminder for fellow brothers, is start giving gratitude for the smallest things in your life. It could be for a straw that you're drinking. If you like to drink a certain beverage with a straw, some people like to drink a certain beverage out of a straw and the other one's just directly out of a cup or mug or whatever it is. Give gratitude for that straw. You could be grateful for something that small. And Mikey, when you start to give gratitude for items like that to bring daily pleasure and happiness to you and peace of mind, you're going to raise your life to a level you can't even imagine. So gratitude is the secret. Get out of jail, elevate your game, raise your vibration. It just does everything. Giving thanks, being in appreciation, and being grateful. And then we're saying that we believe that universal intelligence, creative energy, works at established channels. So this is the peace of mind here, Mikey, is that we don't need to reinvent the wheel. We give thanks. What we want to do, Mikey, what all of our fellow brothers and sisters want to do, Mikey, is stay neutral as to everything. We don't begrudge, or we're not jealous or vindictive or angry about someone else, their dress, their purse, their car, their house, their degree, whatever else it may be. No, that God bless them. We don't begrudge anyone for that. That's a mindset of scarcity. We want a mindset of abundancy, of abundance, that you can have and manifest anything that you imagine. It reminds me of a quote, Mikey, from Albert Einstein. It goes something like this, if my memory will serve me correctly: weak people revenge, strong people forgive, intelligent people ignore. So what was Mr. Einstein saying there, Mikey? The first two are pretty straightforward. What weak people do, they revenge. We don't ever want to be in that category, that's for sure. Strong people forgive, and that does take a strong person, as we can imagine, Mikey, to forgive. But intelligent people, and I would argue, I suggest rather, in harmony with universal intelligence, that you just ignore. And that's staying neutral. You just ignore it. You don't begrudge anyone else for what they have. We stay neutral. We stay high. We stay pure. We stay in a great vibration. So we stay neutral, and we recognize that what we're manifesting will be brought through us through natural growth, through the existing economic, industrial, and social order. So everything around us, we don't have to reinvent anything. What did we say earlier, Mikey? We were talking about an affirmation that I love. One of my ones I love. I am so happy and grateful now that I achieve every goal that I set effortlessly and easily with fun. That is how it comes to us. We never ask if or how or when. We know that it's coming. We don't ask if or how. How's this going to happen? Or I need to go to Congress, to the politicians, and get some law change. It is not like that at all. It will come through us through the established channels in whatever country you're in. And what I recommend, Mikey, is that think about 10xing. I work on that one big goal, that 10x goal. And I'm putting together a program to help our fellow brothers and sisters in the Philippines. And you talk about really abject poverty, Mikey. And I'm not saying that we don't have a certain thing at a level in the United States, but when you look at some of these other countries have zero social government safety net. There is no safety net, none there whatsoever. And the universe mentions that every single 8 billion plus of our fellow brothers and sisters has the opportunity for prosperity, to be prosperous. And if I don't know, I can't think of anything, Mikey, that's more awe-inspiring than that every single fellow brother and sister of ours, from where they're at, has the opportunity to be in prosperity. Now, what the universe reminds us is, and what they brought to me for our fellow brothers and sisters in the Philippines, that you may have 15 people living in a hut and no garden, and that one of those families, say a family of 5, may be able to 10x their life and have a hut for themselves for just that family of 5 and have their own garden. So we're a little spoiled here in the United States on some aspects, Mikey. For that individual, that would be 10xing their life. So it's not that you can't go out and 100x your life, but there's sort of a limit that you want to take it as high as you can, that's as reasonable as you can, and you can get feedback and positive feedback within a reasonable period of time. So once you 10x your life to that, where you've got your own hut and your own garden, which would be very powerful if you lived in the Philippines in some of these desolate areas, then you could 10x out to the next level. So we don't ever think or judge. When I asked Miss Pamela, the teacher and guidance counselor from Nakuru, Kenya, when I asked her what was most important with her: health, wealth, happiness, love, relationships, etc., she said, "Papi, I make what most people consider to be a modest income, and I ask for no more money." She said, "I ask for no more money. I am very happy with what I make. I've got a roof over my head, clothes on my back, food on my table." And she lives in very humble means. There will be a lot of people looking at how she lives with her roof over her head, clothes on her back, and food on her table and say, "Boy, I would be wanting a lot more." She's not. She's 100%. So we can't judge our fellow brothers and sisters. There's 8 billion different wishes and dreams out there. And that's the beauty of this. So when we're looking to help someone, don't ever impart your belief or what you think they should have. Listen to them. Open your heart up to them. Help them how you can. She just wants to help raise. Most important thing in her life is helping to raise her niece and her nephew. is helping to raise them. So listen to individuals, let them go through their journey in life. That's what's most important to her. So it will come to us through the established channels. We don't need to reinvent anything. We don't need to move mountains, build bridges. We will, if you're doing it this properly, you will achieve your goal effortlessly and easily. And ideally, you're having fun while you do it. That's what the universe wants you to have fun while you're doing it.
That's awesome. What a great affirmation and what a great reminder that the universe has already given us everything that we need to be successful, and it's going to look different for everybody. It's not going to be the same for all of us. And we talked about purpose earlier and how once you find it, time flies. And here we are already at the part of the webinar where we get to ask Papi a question. The webinar, we get to ask Papi, so submitted. So if you have a question, sorry, I lost my train of thought.
No.
If you have a question for Papi and you want to submit it to our website, you could just go to our website and click at the top of the website where it says Ask Papi and submit your question. And today's question is manifesting more about physiological and biological changes in my body or spirituality?
Yeah, that's a great question, Mikey. And one thing, Mikey, there's no shortage of questions. I just mentioned when I went to the to meet with the 17th Foundation with that inner city group in Cleveland, Ohio. There must have been 100 questions. So we've got questions. We've got a plethora of questions all the time. And this one, Mikey, what I would say is just to set this with the audience. Everyone who's got a gift, it comes from a certain perspective, so to speak. And mine is from the highest level, from a perspective of spirituality is where I'm coming from. So if we looked at an entire continuum, Mikey, from what is the genesis or creation of this universal subconscious mind, universal laws, perfect and infinite, etc., thought world, thought universe at the very top, and everything being as neutral as possible. And we come all the way down, think of a straight line, and where does it come down to and meet us human beings, that we could think of ourselves. Now, there are experts in this area, Mikey, who talk about our physical bodies, what happens to us, how things work. Dr. Joe Dispenza is a great example. He's a genius. When you're going through visualizing with emotion and manifesting, there are certain unique things that do go through our body physiologically, mentally, biologically. There are things that occur. That's not my area of expertise. My area of expertise is from spirituality and faith, manifesting anything that you can imagine, visualizing with emotion, your goal, always being in gratitude and taking action. So that is my area. So let the audience know, I don't get into, and I understand that there are unique and wonderful physiological, mental, biological changes that go on within our body, but I'm coming from a position of spirituality. And what my teaching is, Mikey, is that, and we're all unique. As I said, 8 billion plus for fellow brothers and sisters, all have a special gift and think differently. But what started me on my journey, Mikey, decades and decades ago is I've always asked a lot of questions. And for me, I like to have some framework of like, how does this work? Where does it start? How's it put together? And that's what led me to start at the very highest point and work down. And as you can imagine, Mikey, there's so much knowledge and so to attain and so much to learn that I could, if I lived another, 100 lives, I could be studying this as far as how this works at this grand level with a thought world within a thought universe, all operating under universal laws, and how manifesting works, how we manifest, what our process is, etc. So again, I'm coming from a perspective of spirituality, just so our listeners always understand that, coming from the very highest point. Those are my marching orders, and to come down and teach and spread a message of hope, inspiration, abundance, and peace of mind to as many of my fellow brothers and sisters as possible, that they have this creative power within them. There's sort of two parts. It's Mikey informing them that they have this creative power within them, and then teaching them how to use it, how to access it, and how to manifest anything they can imagine.
For me, I think of manifesting as like 3 points. Like I feel like it's my mind, body, and soul when I manifest because I have to think clearly and my body just feels better. And obviously, the spirituality aspect that you spoke about. So I do think it's all of that together. Do you have time for another question, or do you
Yeah,
want
yeah,
to?
let's do another one. Yes, please.
Okay. The next question our audience member submitted was, when I visualize, is it mandatory for me to create a picture in my mind as if it has already happened?
And Mikey, just following up on your comment from the previous question, it is a multi variable equation, so to speak, in that stick figure I talk about all the time with the big circle around our head and that horizontal line. C for conscious mind, SC for subconscious mind, a smaller circle down below for our body, just one line up on each side for our arms and our hands, one line down on each side for our legs and our feet, and just, of course, a small line connecting this large circle to the smaller circle of our body. And it is, as you said, Mikey, it's our conscious mind working in harmony with our subconscious mind, working in harmony with our body. So our body is an instrument of our mind. So we think up above this top circle, Mikey. That's why imagination, Albert Einstein, again, who I just love, Albert Einstein said, pay attention to pay attention to your imagination. It is your coming attractions. It will illuminate to you your coming attractions in your life. So everything starts up above our head with imagination. We use our imagination, then we have thoughts around the imagination, specific thoughts. That's where we develop our want and our desire. So we develop this, our thoughts. It comes down into our feelings, into our subconscious mind, our subjective mind, imagination, thoughts, feelings, then down into our body, Mikey, actions. And what comes out of here, what comes out with our actions coming out of us is our results. So think of this chain of events that comes through. Now, one thing we'll talk about in the future, Mikey, an asterisk that I like to mention is that sounds wonderful, and it is wonderful. But if you said, Pappy, where do you see your fellow brothers and sisters stub their toe an awful lot? When we think all the way up top, Mikey, this all starts with our imagination. We can manifest anything we can imagine. But if you said, Pappy, I'm looking up there at that word imagination you wrote, and I see a little asterisk next to it. What is that asterisk? Well, Mikey, that's our beliefs. That is what we'll talk about in future shows that we get to manage. That is that paradigm that I talk about, that hardwiring in our subconscious mind. And if you have a belief system that I'll never be successful because I was born and raised in a certain country, or I don't have a degree from a certain college or university, just whatever it may be. No one in my family's ever been good at this, so I'll never be good at it, whatever career that might be. That is those limiting beliefs are what negatively affect your nation. And that is probably in a time, Mikey, for the number one chief perpetrator on individuals not being able to manifest the life of their dreams is their belief system. So we'll talk about that one again in the future, but it just flows all the way down through imagination, thoughts, feelings, actions into results. And we know how we're doing because we take a look at our lives, our thoughts and our feelings have manifested the life that we're living today. The life you're living today has been 100% manifested by your thoughts and your feelings from earlier today, yesterday, last week, last month. Universe says it doesn't go back that far. We're talking about months and months. So like a rolling months and months period. This isn't like, oh, I did something 5 years ago. That's why you are manifesting through your thoughts and feelings. It's a pretty tight cycle. So the good news there, Mike, is we get a chance to project ourselves out of this. If we're locked in a bad cycle, that we can reinvent ourselves in a relatively short period of time. So to me, that's very exciting. So the visualizing, when I visualize it, mandatory for me to create a picture in my mind as if it's already happened. You don't have to absolutely visualize, but the way the universe explains it is that if we think of our senses, Mikey, sight, smell, taste, hearing, and touch, that the most powerful human sense typically is visualization. Now, there were some of our fellow brothers and sisters will remember I talk about Neville Goddard a lot. And Neville Goddard was, to me, at least in a tie for the all-time sort of king of self-talk. So these are those auto affirmations, suggestions from ourselves to ourselves, things that we say to ourselves, auto suggestions. I am so happy and grateful now that I achieve every goal that I set effortlessly and easily. That's an auto suggestion. I'm making that suggestion into my subconscious mind and telling it, and every person here is the ruler of their subconscious mind. It must and does listen to every suggestion you offer it, and any suggestion you allow to come into it from any other source. social media, parents, brothers, sisters, relatives, the news, the TV, radio, music, songs, anything that you allow it to hear that you do not cancel or reject. It says, hey, you're my boss. That comes in. I'm taking action on that immediately. So now visualizing for a lot of our fellow brothers and sisters will be the most powerful. And I maintain that that is, and do that for, you want to do that, Mikey, for at least 20 seconds, at least 20 seconds. If you can hold it for at least 20 seconds, that focus, you have made a connection, a binding connection. We don't know. Some things you send out once, some are maybe 101, 1,001. We don't know, but it doesn't take for forever. You have not seen, I've not seen manifestations for big 10x goals take longer than 5 years. Typically, it can happen in 5 hours, 5 days, 5 weeks, 5 months, but it doesn't take forever. But visualizing is extraordinarily powerful and the number one tool that most individuals have. So if you can visualize, close your mind just on the screen of your mind, visualizing from the question that came in, Mikey, no, it's not mandatory. As I said, Neville Goddard manifested tremendous things in his life, all through self-talk, just through talking to himself, auto suggestions he would make. And then he would talk about the assumption of the wish fulfilled. So the assumption of the wish fulfilled, Mikey, is you have a goal. Our fellow brothers and sisters listening today have a goal. How do you want to feel after you now have that hut and you've got that and it's just for you and your family? You've got privacy like you've never had in your life. You have your own garden. You have a bicycle. You have a purse, a dress, a new pair of blue jeans, a car, a house, a new car, a new house, whatever it is. So if you think of how do you want to, how do you feel after you have that goal of yours, those items, think how happy you are once that's in possession. And when you internalize that feeling and get your feelings, your vibration, your frequency at that high of a level, that you're elated, that you've manifested that you're holding it, you're wearing it, you're driving it, you're eating it, you're living in it, whatever it is, when you can internalize that, it must be brought to you. It will be brought to you. No ifs, ands, or buts. So again, not mandatory for visualization, but the super majority of our fellow brothers and sisters will find that visualizing is the most powerful way that they can manifest anything they can imagine.
Oh, that's a great answer. So basically, if you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hands.
Yeah.
And every morning we get, like you said, we get to create our
Yeah.
masterpiece, and we get to
Yeah.
visualize our day and make it the best day that we possibly could.
Yeah.
It's all about manifesting it, seeing it, and making it happen. Living your life like you've already accomplished everything that you wanted to. That's great
Yeah.
advice. Happy, I know your book, Manifest Anything You Can Imagine, is on Audible, and it's great to listen to, but I love that the physical copy of your book, you could just open it up to the beginning of each chapter and read an inspirational quote. It kind of helps me when I do it to regain my focus and give me that spark of positivity sometimes that you need during your day. What quote did you want to share with us today?
Yeah, Mike, to add to your comment, that's a wonderful suggestion you just made. And I tell folks, I'll say, what if I just got, if you just have 1 minute, pick up the book and just go in and open it up and just read a quote or two or three quotes. You can read multiple quotes in a minute. Hey, I have got so many positive comments back from our fellow brothers and sisters, Mikey, just from the quotes in the book. I tell everyone as soon as they buy the book, if they have the physical copy, go through the book and just read all the quotes from the preface through all the chapters. That may take you 15 minutes. And you will get such a good flavor and such, in most cases, elevating your vibration and frequency just from reading these inspirational quotes that are inspirational, but also give you a very good idea. Hey, I'm getting a feel for this already, like how this works. I get an idea for it already. So we have one quote picked out today, Mikey, that you picked out. Thank you so much. This is from chapter 9, page 52 of the hardcover. Your habits will make you or break you in this universe, as it's always only you versus you. You are your only problem and you are your only solution. All you have is today. There is no past. There is no future. All you have is the present. Cherish it. Always think and act in the present. Universal intelligence only operates, works, and communicates in the present. That's a quote from me, of course, Papi, PJ Denuzzo. And just to unpack that a little bit, Mikey, what's the first thing and how many times does it come up with us today in today's show? Your habits will make you or break you. And it's all about these habits. in our subconscious mind, the first 7 years of our life, that thing got hardwired from tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of comments that you didn't protect yourself because your conscious mind wasn't developed yet. We're digging those out, taking them out every day, putting in good habits. So these habits, and once you develop these good habits, you're just on autopilot, Mikey. We've all got great habits in our life, and we're not thinking about that great habit. We just do it automatically. So it's no extra work. So they'll make us or break us. The universe wants us to let us know, we're putting our big boy or big girl pants on here. It's always, I am so happy and grateful now that I know in my heart of hearts, it's always only me versus me. I have perfect universal spirit, perfect spiritual DNA, and a perfect spiritual spark. And I have creative power within me. All our fellow brothers and sisters have everything that they need. So it's only you versus you. Thus, it's only you versus you. You're your only problem, your only solution. All you have is today, Mikey. One of the biggest things that blocks our fellow brothers and sisters from manifesting anything they can imagine when I meet with them is they're living in yesterday. They're living in the past. They are still thinking about something that happened a month ago, a year ago, 10 years ago. When I'm talking to my fellow brothers and sisters, Mikey, they're one of the biggest roadblocks they have in their life that's placing them into a low negative vibration on a daily basis is a person who is no longer even alive on earth. That would be a very egregious example for me to give everyone, something you don't want to do. You don't want to be in this low negative vibration about anything in the past, let alone something you have zero control over, another fellow human being of ours who's no longer living. So, as I said earlier, your goal is to stay present, stay aware, and stay conscious. That is your goal. Always think and act in the present. You can only manifest in the present. The universe is eternally grounded in the present. You must be in the present to manifest anything you can imagine. You must. So thank you so much. Just a wonderful show today. Thank you to Suzanne. And thank you, Mikey, for a great show. Thank you so much for a great lineup.
What a great positive way to end the webinar. So thank you. The present truly is a gift. And thank you, Papi, for being present with us today. If you're new to Papi Mindset Coach, be sure you're signed up on papimindsetcoach.com to receive Papi's free educational emails and get access to upcoming live events conducted by Papi to help you manifest the health, wealth, and happiness of your dreams.
Thank you. That's a wrap for this episode of Manifest Anything You Can Imagine podcast. Keep those dreams big and your mindset unstoppable. Take one step today toward the life you're manifesting because you can create anything you imagine. If you can think it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. Visit papimindsetcoach.com for more resources and follow us at Papi Mindset Coach on social platforms for daily inspiration. If you love this episode, share it with someone ready to transform their life. Until next time, stay focused, stay positive, and keep on manifesting your best life. See you soon.